So it looks like we're live. We're just in the background scram, just seeing how much backup we have. But don't need that. Let me go. Yeah, I'm still skipping strains. This could be bad. Why am I skipping frames? Stream quality is good. Minimize that. Hopefully that will go away. If you guys would be so kind, let me see.
So, yeah, I'd pass on the 6 as well. And the
Not what I'm So if you guys want to, you guys can just kind of talk about the first race a little bit. Tell me what you guys like and stuff while I try and make sure these technical things are all taken care of.
Okay, are we live now? Are we good?
We are live as far as I can tell, but it says my stream is experiencing issues, so I just want to make sure that we are.
Let's make sure that we can. Let me go on Daily Gallup YouTube page, for example. Let's make sure.
And I'll be in the Slack.
Yeah, just
Guys, jump on YouTube. And
Yep, we're live. So let's jump in.
I'm skipping.
Let me just share the link on Twitter.
yeah, I'm watching on my phone. It looks like the sound's good and the video's a little choppy.
Okay. So that's the only negative.
Well, I mean, as long as sound quality is good, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
All right, we will give it a go then, boys and girls. That's all we can really do at this point. I sent it out. People let us know. Stream is choppy, but just gonna go for it.
Yeah, that could even be just, doing too much high def or high resolution or something.
Yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys coming out, hanging out with us today. Sorry if the video's a little choppy. Hopefully our audio is coming through clearer. My name is Spencer Luganbuehl. I am one of the founders for the Daily Gallop. Joining me today for this wonderful racing at Churchill Downs is BD horse player Brian Duransky. Brian does our writing for Oaklawn and now has became hopefully what will be a mainstay in the Churchill and Kentucky field. Brian, what's up today?
Oh, I'm happy to be here joining you guys. I'm excited for this card. I mean, this is probably one of the better cards that we've seen in the last month, given the pandemic and everything going on. So, to start this race off, the first race, it's like, holy cow, this is how the whole day starts. I know big guys later are going through the stakes races, and they've got their work cut out for them today.
For sure. And another person who I'm glad to finally have on these, John Piasek. Me and John were actually probably, of the 5 founders, probably the 2 most co-founders. John, how's your day going? How's your pandemic been?
Everything's going well so far. I'm sure our esteemed government here in New Jersey is very happy. It is raining outside today, so everyone's staying indoors. Very happy to hear about all the traffic coming back. We had Lone Star come back yesterday. In a few weeks, we'll have Belmont Park opening up June 3rd. New Jersey racing right around the corner. Delaware and Maryland both getting ready to go as well. So exciting times ahead in the racing industry, that's for sure.
Let's talk about this first race, guys. It's a 7 furlong race, 50,000 maiden claimer going 7 furlongs. Really, really strong favorite in the 9. Brian, what are your thoughts on the number 9?
No, I think the 9 looks good. Probably has a very early advantage on the pace to set, to start things off. But I watched the last replay, and once they got to the drive, I think the horse looked a little flat. So stretching out from 6 to 7 here, I don't know if I really am going to buy into it here at this price of 1 to 2. Definitely the horse to beat on paper, but at that price, there's no way I could play it.
John, tell me what your thoughts are on the 9 Golden Notion.
My issue with him is he's been, as far as speed figures go, he should absolutely crush this field if he runs back to his last few starts. My issue with him is he's in a maiden claim $50,000. The purse is, I think, it's $35,000. 2 races later, there's a maiden special weight at 6.5, where he'd be one of the favorites, and that race is going to $79,000. So I'm not quite sure why they'd want to put him in a maiden claiming race if he was 100%, when he'd have a very good chance of getting a big purse later in the day. The only thing I could think of is he has not been in for a tag yet. He's never lost a maiden claiming race. If he does not get claimed out of here, he is eligible for starter allowance races, both in Kentucky and in New York, down the road. So it's possible their plan here is just get him an easy win, hope he doesn't get claimed, and then from there he can be in starter allowances rather than allowance races, stuff like that, a bit of easier competition, and make a good living for himself. But it is kind of interesting that he's in this spot and not in race 3.
They're coming out on the track right now. Brian, are you looking to beat this horse, and who did you decide to try and beat him with?
I was going back and forth between 2 horses here to try and beat him. I like the first time starter in the 3, step 10. Obviously, Thomas Drury's been pretty good with first time starters, but going back through the pedigree here, the Sire's putting out 17% of 3-year-old starters, or 17% wins for first time starters there at 3. And you add that with Thomas Drury's win percentage at 14%, with 32% in the money. I definitely like the horse here. I think 11-1 is probably a nice price. With a 6-1 morning line, I thought we might get bet down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the 3 definitely seems to fit in this field of, I don't want to say field of underachievers, but for this field, nobody really runs to the buyer par except for the 9.
Yeah, so at least a solid price to put underneath as well. John, are you trying to stay with the 9? Or are you trying to looking to beat up on him here?
My take on this race from a pick 5 standpoint is this is a kind of race where you either single a horse like the 9 or you don't use him at all. Because right now he's 1-2. He's going to be he's going to stay that way, I imagine, most of the betting. And in the pick 5s, I imagine everybody and their brother has singled this horse. So if you try to use other horses in the pick 5, it's going to cost you a lot more money. And if the favorite gets home anyway, then it's going to pay a lot less than you might have hoped for. I did like the 3 going in. He's not getting as much play as I might like to see. He was 6-1 on morning line. He's now 11-1, makes him the 3rd choice. I was kind of expecting him to be around like maybe 5-6-1, and he's not quite there. The 4, my name is Fred. He is second best horse in the field as far as speed figures go. He has lost a few times at the maiden claiming level, though. I don't quite like see that. But he's probably the best option. And right now he's on the board at 16-1. He also got no bad days. Number 7, he's getting a slight cutback in distance from a mile. He dropped the pace twice at Oakland Park. He has probably better horses and couldn't quite get there. I think he's taking a slight drop in class, cutback in distance. Should be helpful right now. He is at 9-1. He is actually the second choice in the field. Behind Golden Ocean, who now is at 2-5, which is pretty nuts. And Power Prince, Nolan Cassie, Julian Olaparu. He's going off a long layoff. He's also never lost a maiden claiming race before. In his third debut back in Keeneland in October, he had a huge RISNET figure of 83. Came in 4th, going a mile and 16th. He had a wide trip over and off track back in November at Churchill and flattened out badly. He's had time off since then. Good workouts, and does have a class advantage over these. So at 14-1, I think Power Prince is the best alternative if you want to try to beat Golden Ocean.
What are we looking for, Brian, when we start off with these maiden claiming races? What is the type of horse that you're looking to always play? Do you have a certain idea when you play these type of races, or you just look through the field and just adjust on the fly as you go?
I think every maiden claiming race is a little bit different. Sometimes you have the horses that are coming from special weight that you have to give some question of why they're dropping back down after trying to win 6 or 7 times. And then
Hmm.
you get the first time starters where you need to really drive through the pedigree and see what they're doing for first time starters is a 3 year old, for example, like today's race. Um, what I like to see for the most part is some speed out of horses that have ran before. And then if it's a first time starter, I want to see the condition. I'd like to see that good workout pattern, 6, 7 day type thing, and go back 6 weeks. Show me that the horse is coming in well intended on the conditioning side. I think those are two things that a lot of people can overlook. But like using today's race, this golden notion on paper seems to be much the best. And I think John was right. You either single the horse or you toss it out completely. And ideally, in this type of race, figure the horse is going to try for its 6th time to break maiden for Brad Cox and Will Rosario. If it doesn't happen here, what's the next move? So this is ultimately the bottom of the ladder for that horse, in my opinion. So
With a horse like Golden Ocean, Brian, are you going to try more exotics like exactas trifectas, or would you try and like is this pretty much a single or like John said, single or pass the race horizontally?
um, I think you either single or I had the horse as a fourth choice today, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Even at 2 to 5, I thought the one at 13 to 1 hugged the money was pretty interesting. If you go back to its last effort, it was pretty game in September on turf, tired out in the stretch, and really had no kick. So with that pedigree, Munnings and Spikestown, I don't think the turf is where that horse wants to be. But that pedigree says, oh, 19% at dirt sprints. And then you look at John Ortiz, who can't win off a layoff. I think he's 0% over 6 months. And it's like, is that what you want? But at 13 to 1 on the rail against a 2 to 5 favorite that's trying for a 6th time to win, that's the kind of horse that could open up the day and really surprise the pick 5.
John, I know you said you were going to play this horse as a pass or go in the pick five. Are you doing anything vertically in the race, exotics or exactas or trifectas?
Well, I'm just looking at the exacta probables right now. Right now, the 9-10 exacta, who Golden Ocean and Power Prince, it's paying $12 for a buck, and you get 12 to 1 or thereabouts on the most likely outcome of the race. It's not a bad proposition. Right now, I know I mentioned no bad days earlier. That combination is only paying $7 for a buck. I think if I had to play this race, I would key Golden Ocean on top of exactas and use 2 or 3 horses on the bottom of him. If I did that 1 by 3 exacta, for $2, it would cost me 6, and I'd have a pretty good chance of getting at least 20 or $25 back. Certainly not a bad way to begin the day. And then in pick 5, again, I either single him, and I think he is a decent horse to single, especially later on in the sequence. If you are going to single anybody, it's going to be him. If you don't like him, I think you would have to use Step 10 and Power Prince. And
For
maybe no bad days.
for me, no bad news was the second choice to me. It's kind of when you look at the between the seven and the nine. Obviously, the nine, every single one of his races pretty much topples that horse, and this horse is now coming off of two straight losses to maiden claimers with two top buyers. Off the layoff, Nick Zito actually has decent numbers with a big gaudy ROI, and I like the fact that he gets someone like Gaffleone. Even though he's 1 for 10, we know Tyler knows how to ride a horse properly. It kind of seems like you want to try and find the second best horse. 8 to 1 is always good enough to take a chance on. I just think the nine here is going to be very strong. I think I'm just going to pass this race and just kind of live to fight another day and figure out what to do coming up in the next race. Going on to the stake races later, obviously we won't be on for those. Hopefully, like I've been saying, I hope the stream is working out well. I put out a little thing in the chat, looking for people to get some feedback on it. I know it's probably choppy due to us skipping frames, and I apologize for that. We are just doing our best at the moment. what do you guys? Do you guys have a good pick in the later stake races? Who do you guys like in the Matt win?
I like Pneumatic quite a bit. I think he is going to be the favorite over Maxfield. He looks like the kind of horse every year. There's those late blooming 3-year-olds that people always get excited about. Um, Pneumatic looks like that kind of horse this year. And I will say too, if this was a normal year, he'd be everybody's wise guy Belmont horse.
Brian, what are you looking forward to in the later races?
The Matt win's definitely interesting. I'm curious to see how Pneumatic does perform. That last race looked fantastic. If you watch the replay, horse was fighting the whole way against Ricardo Santana Jr. and then opens up in the stretch, just powers through. The biggest question mark for me for the day is the Philly race later, and see how Dunbar Road performs here. Chad Brown's been a little cold lately, it seems. I think I've seen on Twitter he's well below his career mark for this time of the year, which doesn't say much considering where we're at with the track's just getting back to normal. But Dunbar Road is either going to be an easy single or a play against. Similar to this first race here with the 9, how do you handle Dunbar Road?
I mean, I think She's a Julie has just as good a case of winning as Dunbar Road does because she's going to be a lone speed on a track that generally places speed on a good day, and especially at the start of this meet, you've had huge long shots who go to the lead and hang in there. So I think if She's a Julie crosses over from the outside post and sets a slow pace, nobody's going to be able to catch it.
I know from Brian, he's the Thursday writer for the Daily Gallop. They used a lot of speed horses that day and had a little bit of a rough day.
I did, and normally Churchill plays pretty fast. The speed's been decent, and then you turn around and play speed horses, and lo and behold, you don't want to be anywhere near the front. So it'll be interesting to see how Churchill plays today as a surface. I know lately it seems like the early pick 5, the speed's been good, and late the track seems to get tiring. So I don't know if they're watering it or what they're doing before the late pick 5 sequence, but it definitely feels like there's a change.
They're heading into the gate, so hopefully we will get clean trips for all here. Beautiful day of racing. I know they were talking about rain, but it's nice to see that we're fast and firm.
Yep. And then it's 2 to 5 on Golden Ocean, so clearly, everybody and their brother has singled him in the pick 5, which is $500,000. Here we go.
I should know that I ended up going with a 3-7 with a 1-3-9 exacta.
And it's no bad days in Baby White Sox battling for the lead. Golden Ocean on the outside going to stalk the pace, and here going to plug the money up the inside. These 4 are going to duke it out as they go out of the chute. They built up 3 lengths on My Name is Fred in the 5th spot. Then to the inside 6 is Judge Johnny. Up wide in 7th is looking at Liberty. Then in 8th is Step 10, followed 9th by Yashima, 10th on the far outside. Victory at Vicksburg. Up the inside, White Wolf is coming on 11th, and they've got 5 on Powwow Prince. Opening quarter 22.18 seconds for long shot Baby White Sox, who leads it by a length. On the outside, Hug the Money is second, No Bad Days, still looming up 3 wide, and Golden Ocean now coming on. He's up in the second, a length off the lead. A length and a quarter back of My Name is Fred in 5th. It's 5 lengths back and looking at Liberty, followed on the inside by Judge Johnny. Trying to come wide, both Victory at Vicksburg and Yashima. Trying to unwind from the back of the pack as White Wolf's got about 13 to make up. Then down to the inside is Step 10, and Powwow Prince is not feeling it. A half mile and 45.1. It's Golden Ocean trying to live up to his hype, but Baby White Sox is a very tough customer on the inside. Baby White Sox and Golden Ocean duke it out as they near the 8th pole. It's 3 lengths back to My Name is Fred, following the outside by looking at Liberty. They're inside the 8th pole. Baby White Sox, Golden Ocean having to work for every step today, and on the far outside looking at Liberty is rolling, but it's Golden Ocean now pulling clear. Golden Ocean looking at Liberty is still flying. Golden Ocean, the wire comes in time, wins it by a length, looking at Liberty second. Then Baby White Sox and My Name is Fred in a minute 23.05.
I feel like it's always good to have a guy like John Piasek in the call because we get those wonderful race calls. I'm still getting to the finish line. It was a gutsy performance. The 9, it just in this race he ends up being the right horse at 2 to 5, but against a much better field he probably would have had trouble.
Well, I do think we learned why he was in this race and not in the main special weight later today. And this race also shows that speed is still something that you want to have. Baby
Absolutely.
White Sox had stock on a dime in his first two starts as a 2-year-old. He shows up here, battles through a first quarter, a very strong second quarter,
Mhm.
45.1 at the sub 23 second quarter, and he really never gets tired.
And he just barely gets nipped at the wire for what looks like to be second.
Wow. I guarantee you there's a lot of people right now who played Golden Ocean as a single, and you definitely didn't see what felt like a 2 to 5 performance there. If you had money on the 9, you were nervous the whole way.
It's interesting too. You had talked about the 3, and instead it's the other Tom Drury horse that ends up, being a fighter on the front end. I always find it weird with the first time starters when there's a horse like the 9 who can get to the buyer par. Usually one horse it's okay, but if you have multiple horses get there, as we see the 12 just gallop out huge there for Grant Forrester. Uh, you see, like just this entire race, this horse wins at 2 to 5. The two horses behind, one's a first time starter, like comes with a huge gallop out. The third place horse is a horse that stops on a dime. I'm gonna go right on ahead and say this was a pretty weak maiden claiming race.
That's probably a very fair
Yeah,
statement.
for sure. No question.
And even if you go back through and look at some of the workouts you were getting, looking at
Mhm.
Liberty was nothing off the chart, nothing to write home about. But
He's got a couple sub 48s. The 47 and 4s are all right. Fairgrounds. The trainer's 1 for 5. It looks like with first time starters, but he looks like he has one winner debuting at the maiden claiming level. I mean, this horse at 15 to 1. This is the reason why I was thinking a little bit of maybe playing the 9-7, but there's not enough value to play 9-7 when there's other horses that will double and triple that exotic.
agreed. And, the fact that the horse is carrying 6 pounds and, being a first time starter from the outside post, I discounted it. I didn't think it was going to have that much run. And that was an impressive finish considering what those fractions turned out to be.
Absolutely. And like John said, not being in that third race, which was the maiden special weight race, and now hoping this horse doesn't get claimed, I guarantee you we'll probably see him in the starter allowances before we see him jumping up and trying something different.
Yeah. I think they kind of know what they have here. Maybe they. I mean, I don't know if they'll put him back in for a tag because I know there are some high level noms, the two claimers, both here and at Saratoga. But I guess we'll see. Looking at Liberty, looks like a kind of horse who, based off that run, is going to get a lot of play next time out if he shows up again at this level.
And it's always that type of horse, obviously paying $9 for second. Horses that come from the back of the pack, they always seem like the bridesmaid horse. They're always a horse that will, um, quote unquote, always get up for second and third, but you're going to get them at like even money when they win because they're just that much better than the field. 280 for Golden Notion. The $2 exacta came back $29. Hopefully somebody had it out there. If you guys want to move on to race number 2, mile and a 16th, 20 optional, starter 10K, going 1 and 1/16 mile, as I said. The number 6 Slick Silver was the morning line favorite. What do you guys feel about this favorite?
Yeah, if you look at where the horse is coming from, huge relief in class. I mean,
Yeah.
went against Improbable last out, Tom to Tot. My question is, why do you go to there to this optional claiming? Granted, not running for the tag today, it just seems like a very odd move to me. John, does this move seem logical by the connections to come from the Oaklawn Mile here in the optional claimer?
I think everybody is a little thrown off by that line in the Oklahoma because this is pretty clearly not a stakes horse. He had won 6 starts in a row at Hawthorne. He had won twice in rounds of 2 allowances, but those, I think, a round of two allowance in Illinois is about the equivalent of a starter optional claiming race here. I think it's very similar class-wise. He goes to Oaklawn. He beats a very similar field, as he'll see here. Starter allowance 12.5. That's not too different from a starter allowance 20. In fact, actually, the whole condition reads claim price of 10,000 or less, or optional claiming 20,000. And there are, let me see here, there are 4 horses into the tag, so it's pretty similar to a starter allowance 10,000, and he beat a 12.5 field 2 starts back. Then they tried the Oakland Mile. I don't know why. it was kind of weird because he's not as good as Thomas the Top, or Improbable, or Bankett. And he wasn't on the pace that day either. He came from far behind. It wasn't okay to be fifth. Now he's facing a much easier field, a field I think that's very much in his wheelhouse, and he's got the early speed, so he can just get over to the front and just keep going.
In races like this, when you have the mixed condition, Brian, do you kind of feel like you're still trying to get a hang on this type of race? Because I know I am.
These races are probably one of the most confusing races because you have to look and try and figure out why connections are putting their horse in this spot. Like John was just saying, this horse, Slick Silver, is coming from the Oaklawn Mile and now back to this optional claimer with multiple different reasons of being here. It's like, you mean to tell me there's nowhere better on this card this horse could have fit? And honestly, probably the best spot here. It just, I don't understand the condition game that well to understand why here.
Well,
it seems like they could have been a better purse option or a better race later in the card.
if he was in the Matt Wing, he'd be 99-1. I don't think he's a grass horse. I think he has been on grass before, not too much success. I'm sure that's why he's not in the fifth later day. And this horse is showing numbers to allowance lines. He is not a rounds to allowance horse. I think bettors are just being thrown off by the Oklahoma Mile 1. This is a starter allowance horse. This is not, to me, a surprising spot at all.
What are your guys as we look now? The 6 is 6-5. Are there any other shots on the board, Brian, that kind of surprise you where they are with this first click here?
I've been looking at the 7 Laddie Boy.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 7's kind of interesting considering this spot, but if I had to take a stand and say this is the horse I'd bet right now, I'm probably going to look at the second choice or the third choice on the board, Charlie's Archangel. This horse looked pretty good at Oaklawn Park despite what the past performance says. And if history tells me anything, this horse could be sitting in a close race to that 6. And if Slick Silver is not ready to run today or starts slow like they did in Oaklawn Mile, perhaps the 4 has more late kick to finish.
Sorry.
Well, it's worth noting too in the double will pays. The 6 is a pretty clear favorite. He's paying $4 for a buck, so he's going to be the favorite. The 4 is paying $7.70, and no one else is paying less than 15. So even though right now the 4 is 5-1, I imagine those odds are going to drop quite a bit by the time they go to the gate.
What are your thoughts, Brian, with those will pays?
Oh, it makes sense. You knew Slick Silver was going to be short in the will pay and to the doubles here. With the 4 currently 9-2, $7 for a dollar on a double with the favorite last race. Mm-hmm. Seems to be about right. You might actually be better off. If you were coming into this race liking the 4, you probably were coming in looking at the 6, taking all the money and planning on making a win bet here. Saying, okay, I'm going to get 3-1, 4-1, and that's probably a good fair price.
The horse that it doesn't interest me, but interests me with the board would be the number 10 Dangerfield, obviously dropping from the 10-1 more. I think the last time I saw him, he was 5-2. This type of horse coming out of the star allowances and the claimers likes to hit the board a lot, but doesn't like to win per se. 11 underneath with only 4 wins. What do you guys try to do with this type of horse when he takes a lot of money like this?
Well, that last race of his, that was at 1 3/4. It was in the trails end race, so I don't really count that. If you go back, he did really have to grind to win his last start, and he had a good setup. He was off a pretty fast pace, not too far away, and he had a really hard time winning. And that's Oaklawn, which generally plays a lot fairer than Churchill. He seems like a horse who's very good to key in like third or fourth if you're playing a try or super, but I'm not sure I got to win.
Brian, what are your thoughts on number 10, Dangerfield?
A horse makes a lot of sense. So far, I haven't been a real big fan of the Hollendorfer horses here in the Midwest. I know he's brought his barn over to Oaklawn over the winter, and I just haven't. He's had a few winners, but it seems like they're all bet down to the price where there's just no value here to me because of the name recognition. And then this horse is coming out of some pretty good performances at the normal distances. I mean, I think John's right. This is the horse you probably key underneath an exact or trifecta play if that's your style. And look for a price to come in either before or after him.
Any type of long shot that you guys look to see to help maybe add some value underneath right now? Or we just kind of, I feel like a lot of people are going to like the six. It looks like it's going to be a pretty chalky double to start off because I couldn't really find a way to beat or get around the six.
Well, I was looking at Laddie Boy quite a bit, number 7. He has a very similar profile as Dangerfield in that he's a kind of horse who always shows up in these kind of races, always runs well, never quite gets the job done, but always gets checks. He's 9-1 right now. Dangerfield is 5-1. I think the two of them are going to end up being similar prices by the time it's all said and done. Right now, if I was playing this, I would key Slick Silver on top of Exactas and probably play Laddie Boy and Dangerfield underneath. And maybe Charlie's O'Jangle too. Maybe. Depending on the book.
With these types of races as well, like obviously the next race coming up is a maiden special weight. I do know, I'll let you guys know as well. It seems like we're pretty choppy here on the stream, so I might just finish up after this race and we might take a quick break to see if I can somehow fix this internet problem, just so you guys are aware. Apologize to people watching. I know it's not fun to watch a choppy stream. We're doing the best that we can today. With the optional 20 races, when you see a horse that's in for a tag, is that a positive or a negative for you, Brian?
At this level, the claiming races are what makes the racing world go round. So at 20,000, you see career lifetime claimers that make a career winning these kind of races and finishing in the money. And, if you see a major class drop into this level, it's like, okay, why? But for the most part, this is your normal Friday, Saturday, early card kind of race. I don't want to call it the meat and potatoes of horse racing, but it kind of is.
I think that's a good explanation. John, what are your thoughts about these horses who are coming in for the tag?
I don't look at them either as better or worse. To me, they're all pretty similar quality horses. I'm not going to put too much thought into it.
For playing now, obviously the pick 5 is we're one thing, and going into a pick 4, are you looking to would you be looking to start off with a chalk here, or do you always try and beat chalks early and maybe play it a little bit narrower down the line? Brian, I don't know how much you play pick 4s and pick 5s.
It's hit or miss. It's usually sequence depending.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find a strong enough opinion, I'll play a pick 4 or pick 5. For this particular sequence, I think you need to probably say, okay, Slick Silver's the most logical winner. What you're probably going to see, you might see a little inflated pool from the pick 5 people for those that tried to beat Golden Notion last race, who are going to come in and throw that same ticket here.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot of people throwing a $96 pick 4 ticket here, hoping for a price either in this leg or the next leg. But I think if you're playing pick 4 here, you're looking at the Slick Silver, and maybe you have a little value shot. Maybe you have an opinion on somebody like the 3 who makes some sense here, but nothing too crazy. I don't think you want to be spreading this race and waste a lot of value.
John, what are your thoughts? Are you kind of more of the try to get a single out early and try and survive later, or do you like being?
I don't believe in a hard and fast rule about single early or single later. I think you have to let type of races dictate how you play. Like if the most likely winner comes in the first leg, single them there. If most likely winner comes in the last leg, single them there. That being said, I do think if you are going to single a horse in pick 4 pool in pick 4, it would be Slick Silver. I think he's most likely winning. So if you do have to take a stand somewhere, take a stand with him.
Between the last horse, obviously, now knowing the 9-1 and this horse, out of these two being the 2 chalks, which one would you guys have preferred in the pick 5?
Select Silver.
Definitely. This horse seems much the best on paper.
When you see a trainer like Brittany Vandenberg come in 4 for 7, 57%, I was looking up stats the other day with Marshall. I know she is mostly Chicago based. When you see a big gaudy percentage like that, I know a lot of people who aren't, the everyday player will see that and think that she is the best thing since sliced bread. When she's really unknown to me, is she known to either of you guys at all?
Not to me.
I'm probably the closest to Hawthorne out of the stream right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not uncommon to see her. I know lots of times when she ships out of Chicago, she'll catch a price at Oak Lawn or Churchill Downs or,
Mm-hmm.
the rare trip down to Indiana Grand. And it's usually well intended. It's a smaller barn, so when they spend the money to ship, there's usually a reason for it. They're coming down to compete. That's probably why she has, I forget what her win percentage is, but when she's shipping, off of like a 30-day layoff, she's positive like an 8 ROI, which is just crazy for a small time barn.
When you see someone like, I'm going to say the name wrong, Emigi? I'm not. I know it's a Chicago jockey, but it seems like he's coming in, and I doubt he's going to be here for the whole meet. He's coming in just for her specific horses. Do you like seeing the out of town trainer bring the jock, or would you rather have someone like Javier or Lannery jump on a horse like this?
It's tough because Chris Emig, I forget the pronunciation of it. He's real common up here. He rides Hawthorne, and he'll spend the winter up here. But when you're going down to a jockey colony like that, and the best example I have is like Jose Valdivia Jr., who was having a tough time out west, and when he came to Chicago and was racing at Arlington, his career really took back off. So the fact that Brittany took this horse down there and leaves Chris aboard, I'm a little hesitant just because I think he might be that next tier level jockey, and that's not a knock on him. It's just he doesn't get the mounts, he doesn't get the experience to travel around like this.
John.
The only thing amazing about this horse is I'm not sure this is the kind of horse who needs a great ride necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
When all Chris has got to do is put this horse on the lead, and that's going to give him the best chance. And that's something he probably saw handicapped in this race. I'm sure he knows that about the horse because he's ridden him several times. He had experience with this horse, so I'm not too concerned about that.
Nice little. Thank you very much, dear. Nice little pizza delivery right there. The 4, Charlie's Angel, definitely likes Churchill, 3 for 4 in the money. Just came off a very badly beaten favorite last time out. Do you guys just kind of look at that race as it's the same type of race here, just obviously a little bit, the 16 compared to the 12, it pretty much is the exact same class level. So is that where you seeing this horse as the second choice?
I'm sitting here, I'm liking the horse more and more, and it's one of those things where I'm going to sit here and stare at it until I decide to play the 4 against the 6, even though the 6 is probably the best on paper. And I keep going back to that first race with how the 12 came rushing on late. If for some reason the 6 runs some crazy fractions, the 4's shown some late kick before. Is it possible the 4 is able to stay close enough early to get a price in? And that's just me sitting here talking myself into something for 20 minutes between post time.
I mean, my thing about the 4 is outside of the 6, the 4 is going to have the second best trip in the field because he should sit right off of Slicksilver, either on the rail while Slicksilver sets the pace, maybe like a length and a half off the lead. He might even go up on the outside of Slicksilver and press him, or maybe even try to keep Slicksilver off the rail while staying just off the lead.
Looking
And
for
that and this kind of thing is where I do wish we had a better jockey. I mean, James Grant is very good. He's not like awesome. I'm surprised Joe Talamo is didn't kick him out here.
reminds me, James Graham, I always think of as being the patient jockey, the one that everyone gives all the unruly horses to. Looking in the post parade right now, I don't really see anything I don't like from anybody. Has there ever been times, obviously, when we talk about washed out horses, where I don't know how good you guys are at looking at horse flesh, but where you just kind of can pick up what's some stuff that you guys have tried to pick up when watching post parades? Brian?
I don't put a lot of time into watching it.
Hmm.
What I usually end up going by is they always say watch the ears and watch what the horse does with the ride out to the with the escort. Sometimes they're hugging right up against it, ready to go, and other times they just want nowhere to be, be nowhere near another horse. And it's exciting, or not exciting. It's interesting during this pandemic because you've got now nobody there is looking at the paddock, letting you know what's happening.
Yeah.
Some of the broadcasters are giving it to you, but it's not like you could go to the track and watch for yourself. So trying to pick it up on TV is a little bit harder, I think. So I don't know if people are putting the same value in that as they normally would.
John, your thoughts on the post parade?
Well, on the floor right now, who is on the simulcast feed, he showed a good pep in his step. Looks ready to run, not using up too much energy. His head is a little bit in the air, but on the whole, he is not looking sleepy or lethargic as horses do sometimes. I never look at that as a good sign. Sometimes people will think of it as trying to save energy. That's not the case. The six also looks very good. He's in a pretty steady clip. He's just kind of strutting along in a good way. He's not running. He's staying with the pony. He looks pretty alert. I would say both favorites made a good impression in the first race.
What are you guys looking at wagering wise here? What are we going to try and do, Brian?